we're going to be enjoying a meal together, and we're going to be practicing some mindful eating as we eat. So we'll be asking you to join along with us. My name is Lola Martin. I am a postdoctoral fellow at UCLA CAPS.
I'm Saromi Kim, and I'm an assistant clinical director at CAPS, and I use she, they pronouns.
Hi, Rudy. My name is Gabriel Loredo. I'm the Community Relations and Outreach Coordinator for the Counseling Center, and my pronouns are he, him.
And hi, my name is Marika Turner. I'm the Health and Wellbeing Coordinator for Residential Life, and my pronouns are she, hers.
This video will be about 20 minutes, and we'll be talking a little bit just about how we prepared our meals, as well as sort of feelings and hunger that comes up to try to model what might happen during a mindful meal. And we'll also be leaving some time for silence for those of you who are joining along with us to really sort of attend to the sensations, the sounds, the quality of the food that we're eating as well. And then we'll wrap up this meal by kind of reflecting on what it was like. So today for lunch, I made, I don't know if you can see that, a bagel sandwich, which has got some sliced chicken in it, cream cheese, some vegetables, and then I also did a serving of chips on the side. So, you know, right now, trying to minimize grocery shopping, and bagels is what I had in the house and what sounded good to me. So that's kind of what I gravitated towards, and really trying to pay attention to the different components of the meal to try to create a balanced meal. So here I've got starch, I've got fat, protein, and I've got some fruits and vegetables as well. I wonder what other folks brought for lunch today.
I can go ahead and share mine. So I brought a turkey and ham sandwich and some apples that are starting to, and so again, similar to you, I wanted to make sure I was using what was in my refrigerator. I need to go to the store soon, but trying to get creative. I usually like to have a little bit more color, but this is what I had in my kitchen. And also, I had to cut it diagonally because it always makes the sandwich taste better.
Okay, I can do mine. So Monday usually ends up being my fanciest lunch because I just have leftovers from the weekend, and on weekends I try to actually cook. So I made a flatbread with cheese and then a bunch of veggies on top, and then a caprese salad, which is like tomatoes and mozzarella, and I have a little bit of fruit, and I have a little bit of radish because I'm Korean and I need something like kimchi-like at every meal, and including also little, what are these called? Cornichon, I think, like little tiny pickles that are really salty. So I like the salty with sweet, with color, with, so I like all the burst of flavors as much as possible, and the contrast. And I think that's what Korean food actually does really well, is that it contrasts like the textures. Like if you have like soft rice, you have to have something crunchy like kimchi, right? So I think that's partly my cultural heritage. And then I like having a little bit of everything on the plate, so I don't get bored. So I could have a little fruit on the side and this and that. And this, I think, is also the privilege of, COVID and the sadness of COVID, but also the privilege of having like slow time, because I am cooking more and I am like doing things more, taking more time to actually think about what goes on my plate. Usually, unfortunately, in real life, I'm running around and I don't get to do this as much. So I'm trying to take advantage of it now and see if I can also do this continuously in my life when things go, quote unquote, back to normal.
And I'll share. I'm gonna try to, okay, can you see? So these are some peppers. And I just cut them up, and then I have hummus. I'm obsessed with hummus. I love hummus. I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, taking it to like when I was a kid. And I also, yes, cut them diagonally. Like I don't want a sandwich that's not cut like this. So I agree with Gabriel. And then I'm also big with like what I drink as well. So I have a little bit of orange juice, not too much. And then I normally have this big jug of water that I normally drink, but I just poured it into a glass for the sake of the video. Didn't want it to cover my whole face. Normally for lunch, I've been drinking these shakes that have a lot of like spinach and veggies and protein powder and stuff like that, but I wanted to do something different for our video. So I'm excited to not have a shake today, but have something a little bit different for lunch.
Right, and that all sounds delicious. Just as we kind of start our meals, I know for myself, I have a tendency to eat really quickly, so this is a challenge for me to try to slow down, really take that whole time, that whole 20 minutes, hopefully, to eat. I think 20 to 30 minutes is a good meal time. Oftentimes people struggle with either sitting with their food really for a long amount of time or eating it really quickly, which makes it harder for us to attend to the different tastes and sensations and things kind of happening in our body as we eat on either end of that spectrum. So maybe now is a good time. I'll invite everyone to start eating, and if you're eating along with us, hopefully you can kind of tune into how it is you prepared your meal and begin to kind of check in as we start this meal. One way that I often like to start meals is by checking in with myself just around my level of hunger and any sort of emotions that I'm feeling as I reflect back on my day that could potentially impact the way that I show up at the table and with my food. So I'd say in terms of hunger right now, I'm feeling pretty neutral. Had a big breakfast earlier, and yeah, I'm excited for this meal. I'd say right now I'm feeling pretty relaxed and cheerful, and pretty connected to you all. So excited to kind of get started with some eating. And I've been looking at this food for 5 minutes now, so I'm going to start munching away.
Yeah, I would say one of my intentions for sure is to slow down and eat. I think, especially working from home, I'm usually like just trying to answer emails or kind of put the food second. So I'm excited to actually focus on the food. And I think I had a good oatmeal breakfast earlier, but I think I'm at that point where it's just like the perfect time where I'm starting to get hungry.
Yeah, I think for me, like normally I always just eat while I'm watching TV. So this is definitely a new experience, and I'm a type of person who tends to eat my food fast because I never want it to get cold, but I intentionally got food that is okay, whatever temperature it is.
Excited mostly because you're right. If you start looking at it for a long time, you get hungry. So I wasn't all that hungry at the very beginning because I did have a breakfast too. But now that I've been looking at it for a while, my hunger has been motivated or stimulated.
You know, I think a lot of what has been coming up during COVID is that folks are either eating alone in front of the TV, or we're navigating kind of like these workday lunches where we're kind of sitting at a computer eating. So this feels like such a nice break and such a nice reminder to really sit down and attend to our bodies and attend to the food that we do have access to right now. Should have brought napkins, I realized. If only you could pass them to me through the screen. So I'll share that as I'm eating, one way that I'm trying to slow myself down right now is sort of tuning into that awareness of the entire experience of eating. So including the sensations that happen, like chewing, tasting, savoring each bite. What are the different kind of textures or flavors that are coming through? And I think that's one way that's been helpful for me to kind of slow down.
I think one thing that's helping me slow down is like I recognize I'm kind of being playful with my food, if that makes sense. So when I'm dipping my pepper in the hummus, I'll spin it in the hummus and then I'll just kind of let it sit there for a second and then I'll like spin it again and then I'll bring it up to eat, as opposed to what I normally do, which I just like dip it and then just go.
I like being playful with my food too, and I realized as soon as I lifted the flatbread, I wanted to eat everything with my hands. So even though I brought a fork, it's not needed for today. Because it's so much fun to eat with your fingers if you can.
Yeah, I've been trying to actually take a look at every bite before I take it, just because I feel like you all said, like I'm used to looking at screens while I'm eating, and so I'm not aware of what actually I am eating, and so it's helpful. And this time I've gone for sourdough bread. I usually just go for whole wheat or multigrain bread, and I love the texture of it and the play on flavors with the other information or with the other flavors. It's been really cool.
As much as I'm trying to slow myself down, I realize I'm already halfway through. So more work to be done there.
I'm noticing that eating it more mindfully than I usually do. I don't usually eat this mindfully, although I try, that I am looking at my food more and I'm feeling a lot of gratitude for the food that I get to eat.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Saromi. Just because I've realized, I am grateful for this. I think during the quarantine, I've been making sandwiches, and it's just been the same thing over and over. And I think I take it for any easy excuse to go get fast food or to not eat what's in my fridge. And I think today I was like, I'm going to challenge myself too. I want to make sure I'm not wasting any food. And I think I am super grateful.
And having some kind of gratitude, it sounds like, not only for the food, but for the thoughtfulness that you put into what is it that I am going to eat today and how am I going to enjoy that? I'll just add that there's times for me, we eat so many times a day between meals and snacks that sometimes I slip into feeling like eating's a chore. It's this thing that I have to do to nourish my body, like brushing my teeth. And so it's nice to shift from necessarily seeing that as something that needs to fit in, something that needs to get done in the day, to something that I get to kind of sit down and do.
Sometimes when I prepare my food in a certain way, I cut my peppers a certain way, I cut my sandwich a certain way, all of these little, I would say, mini joys of preparing it and what it looks like on the plate and feeling like you're a mini chef, even if you're just preparing it to look nice on the plate. It's those little moments that make me feel like food is not just something that I have to do, but it's something that I enjoy and something that I can put my own spin on.
So I've still got a couple bites left. I've got mostly some chips left that I'm gonna keep kind of snacking away on. And just as we're wrapping up the meal, I'm noticing that I feel full, not overly full. Probably like I'll want some kind of ice cream or sweet snack, and in a little while, it's pretty hot here too. So I feel satisfied. I feel like I could have a little more, but we'll keep kind of eating the chips and see how that goes.
I have a little bit left too, but I decided that I did feel full, so I'm gonna stop for now, and then usually just in a few minutes I'll want to finish that. So I'm just gonna pause. Sometimes I want to pause and check in and then go to my last few bites.
I'm really impressed with myself, I guess, because I haven't even finished the peppers. Like, this is like so bizarre to me. Like, I haven't even touched this peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So right now I feel not full, but I do feel full in a sense. Like, I think what I love about eating more slowly is that, like, sometimes when I eat really fast, I tend to like overeat, which is something I'm constantly working on. So now with some more time, I'm recognizing, okay, I'm starting to get a little bit full. So I may like take a pause, like Saromi was saying, and maybe just put my sandwich to the side till like later.
Yeah, I think I have about a quarter of my sandwich left, and yeah, it's nice to just really be in tune with how I'm feeling, and I'm feeling like perfect. Like I feel satisfied, but not like I overindulged at all. But yeah, I think it's also trying to take into account, I'm trying to be present in the moment, but also thinking about like, oh, I have emails to catch up on, things like that. So I'm like trying to make sure I'm focusing on my body, and rather than, is it because I'm a little bit stressed that, it's affecting my appetite a little bit more. And so recognizing where I can make sure, like, okay, am I making sure I'm giving enough nutrition to my body, I guess.
I appreciate you bringing that up, Gabriel, because I often experience too that my emotions really, it's sometimes difficult to differentiate what I'm feeling emotionally versus what my body is feeling in terms of hunger. Am I hot? Am I stressed? Is that impacting my appetite in some way? And knowing that even if kind of these outside things are going on, I still have to nourish my body in a certain way, and knowing that there's still kind of a base amount that my body needs. So just being aware of time. If folks are joining with us at home, and hopefully you've been able to follow along and eat a meal with us. If not, this is a video that hopefully can be watched more than once if you feel like you'd like to share a meal and practice some of those mindful eating skills. We do, of course, have some more resources located in the RISE virtual library about mindful eating, intuitive eating, body acceptance. So hopefully those videos are useful for you. And certainly as we wrap up this video, I just want to say how much I appreciate being able to share some space with you, Saromi and Gabriel and Marika. I've become so accustomed to eating alone these days that it's really nice to eat a meal with you.
I completely agree. Thank you.
Agreed.
I agree as well. This has been really like relaxing and refreshing to eat in this type of way with people that I care about.
It's soul nourishing. Thank you.
And I'll also flag that for some folks, this does feel energizing, soothing, and this can also be a distressing experience to slow down and really tune into food. So just wanting to name that might be something that folks are experiencing as well, that is totally normal, is okay. So as we kind of wrap up this video, I would invite anyone watching along with us to try to tune in on what they're feeling emotionally, if they're feeling satisfied in terms of their meal, and hopefully provide a framework to do that in future meals as well.
Thank you for eating with us.
Thank you for eating with us.
Thank you.